I mean, even just like going to concerts, the fans there and the people you meet are like the sweetest people ever. Can I share a fun concert story?
No, you can't share a fun concert story. Let's move on. Let's stop talking about 21 Pilots.
I know, I keep thinking like, oh, I should probably stop talking about 21 Pilots.
The whole episode. Hey everybody, welcome to the 4th episode of No Small Thing. I'm Scott.
And I'm Macie.
And this is the episode that we have been very excited about for
Very excited
a long time. Even before we started the podcast.
I'm flipping out. We need a drum roll. 21 Pilots.
This is the 21 Pilots episode, and we're so excited to talk about this. This is us in our sweet spot.
It is us in our sweet spot.
Yeah, Macie in her sweet spot.
I am trying to remain calm with how excited I am. They're my favorite band.
So, you just want to sort of give some sort of formal announcement? Like some sort of, I mean, we've said 21 Pilots, but do you want to say more of like...
Who they are?
What are we doing here?
Oh,
like, what is it? What is this episode?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I mean, it's an episode we're going to sit down and talk about 21 Pilots, but probably talk about what the band means more probably to me, but I'm curious about... So Scott's been listening to 21 Pilots this whole week and has gotten to know them through me. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll probably just talk about what they mean to me, but also maybe what they've meant to Scott and his responses.
Everything we've said so far, at least especially in our playlist episode, but anything we've said about the podcast, I think was lived out this week. Like, I was going hardcore deep diving, and in our first episode, you said... you know, that you had sent me a bunch of 21 Pilots videos and stuff in the early days. And I remember I did spend time watching those, but I did not deep dive. Like,
no,
I watched those
them
videos.
All.
I've listened to the songs you've played me in the car sometimes, like on mission trips and stuff like that. But and then they are ubiquitous. They are everywhere in the world. I mean, you can't go around in the world without hearing a 21 Pilots song. And one of the things before this that happened to me frequently, and I'm sure anybody listening has had this experience and not even realized it, is that 21 Pilots songs are everywhere. And they are sort of chameleon-like. So I am in my opinion, especially as a lay listener, like when I hear, I'll be like, who's this? And somebody will be like, 21 Pilots. And then I hear another song that sounds completely different. I'm like, who's this? And somebody will be like, oh, it's 21 Pilots. I'm like, 21 Pilots again. They're everywhere.
I have mixed emotions about this.
I feel like they sneak into Pandora stations. All of a sudden, it'll be a 21 Pilots here, 21 Pilots here. They're just kind of in all different styles and genres.
Yeah, no, they don't really fit a genre.
Yeah.
Genre. Because I think it might technically be alt punk, but they're pop and he raps, and I think they fit rock category too a little bit.
Our podcast is under society and culture.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
That's what we are. That's our genre.
So I guess that's what we're going to talk about. No, but tonight we're talking about 21 Pilots.
Tonight, we're doing it.
The best band. So 21 Pilots, can I just say a few things, like intro the band to the people?
Preliminary thoughts, preliminary comments.
So 21 Pilots is made up of 2 members, Tyler Joseph and Josh Dunn. Tyler is the singer. He plays the bass. He plays the piano. He plays the ukulele, and he writes all the songs. Josh plays the drums. It used to be 3 members, and it was Tyler, a guy named Nick, and a guy named Chris. And then they were a band, and they toured, and then Chris and Nick left around the same time, and then Josh came. No, they're still friends. Oh. Nick is still a part of the tour. Like, he tours and does merch, and Chris...
Oh, why did they stop?
I think for both of them, it was just life circumstances. It was like it cost like a ton of time and money. I don't know how much you want to go into the foundation of 21 Pilots.
Might as well just keep running with it for now because it's making sense and I'm liking it.
Okay. So Chris and Nick left mostly just because they were like a touring band going through Ohio and like very like up and coming, but they like were having to work other jobs to make and pay rent. They all lived in a band house together. And I think for both of them, they just like had trouble like making it work, that kind of lifestyle. And one of them wanted to go to grad school, and he ended up doing that. I think it was Nick. I forget. There's a podcast called the 21 Pilots Podcast.
Oh, there's a whole podcast?
It's just this one dude. He's like probably your age, and he just likes 21 Pilots and talks about them. Okay, so that's the band, but they're 21 Pilots. And they're
I love 21 Pilots.
I love 21 Pilots as a band, but I think in this episode is honestly on some level also just like I love Tyler Joseph, and I'm unapologetically like
crushing,
and like people are like, oh, you can't like one band member more than the other, and like I've always been. A lot of people do. A lot of people freak out that you have to love Josh and Tyler the same amount.
No.
I could never.
Sorry, Josh.
Because Tyler's the best.
He's kind of the heart of the band. I mean, I have to imagine.
Yeah.
Josh would agree.
Yeah, no, and Tyler and Josh are like the best of friends, and I like Josh is so special.
Does Josh write any of the songs?
No, but he does a lot of the like. He helps them musically on some level, but the lyrics are Tyler.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna start with. It is the journey, the Macie 21 Pilots journey. So I know you didn't necessarily grow up, I think, listening to music like this. What
do you mean music this?
I don't know. We kind of hinted at that when we were talking about like not Hannah Montana. Like who are you listening to? Like Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff, but also
what was a standard? What was a standard type of band you were listening to as a junior in high school?
Oh, a ton of things. I was listening to a lot of Christian music, but I was obsessed with Linkin Park.
Oh,
yeah, no, that
I would almost say Linkin Park is a more legit 21 Pilots.
Yeah, that I love Linkin Park.
That's
you were there the day that I found out that Chester died, and that was a really hard day. I have a painting that I made in my room that's for him. Chester meant a lot to me. That was
I feel like
really
that's
hard.
We'll get into this maybe, but that is a starting point for 21 Pilots. At the same time, there's a group that I listened to in high school called 311 that sounds a lot like 21 Pilots.
I don't think I've heard of them.
I think 21 Pilots is a better version of 311, but it was this
I hate that you're trying to think that they need to be versions of something. That's, I think, what I don't think that you could say, they're like some other band.
If there was another group of white guys rapping with a reggae-infused sound, that would have to be brought into the conversation. You don't even need to say, it's not like I can't say 21 Pilots isn't unique. It's just conspicuous. It's that also exists in the world. It happened, Like I said, I think...
I guess I'll have to listen to 311.
311, man. I was a pretty big fan for a while.
Really?
I would.
Was it emo?
It was a lot like 21 Pilots. It was a little emo-ish. There was another group around that time called Sublime. Do you know Sublime?
Yeah.
So they were kind of in that ballpark. So I'm not dissing 21 Pilots to say they're not utterly and completely.
I know. I'm getting so
They came out of
defensive
nowhere with no influences.
Yo.
I'm trying to get a reference point for what about 21 Pilots? When did they? Let me just start with this.
Oh.
When did you first encounter 21 Pilots?
Oh,
it doesn't matter what you were listening to.
End of freshman year in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was college.
But you were already listening to something like Linkin Park.
Yeah.
And maybe some other emo bands.
Yeah,
I did air quotes. I did air quotes.
I listened to My Chemical Romance a ton.
I love My Chemical Romance.
But yeah, so I started listening to 21 Pilots probably in, I think my freshman year of college. So after,
do you have a first memory?
Yeah. Oh, I have memories for most songs, I think.
Let's hear one of them. Let's hear a few if you're willing.
Okay. Yeah. So I hate that this is a part of me as a fan. So 21 Pilots has been around since 2000. I mean, their first album came out in 2009, but they were touring around and practicing around before then. But They came out in 2009, but I didn't become a fan until 2015 when their most recent album came out, and I think their most recent albums.
Oh, you became a fan when Blurryface came out.
Yeah, that's like where I get like so like yeah, I became a fan when Blurryface came out because it's my least favorite album of them all, but like it was the fact that I listened to Blurryface that I was able to like go back and then I listened to everything. I listened to I think it was Stressed Out. It was the song Stressed Out.
Yeah, good.
That was my first song.
That's the most basic 21 Pilots
I hate it. I hate it. It's like my least favorite song. But then I literally only listened to it once maybe, and it was my friend Michaela who showed it to me, and then I texted her and I was like, I really like this band. And I knew that she was a fan because all of my friends like liked 21 Pilots for so long, and I just like didn't. I was like kind of like didn't hit your radar, you know? Mm-hmm. So then it finally did, and then she said, you need to listen to Vessel. So I listened to Vessel, and I remember.
So far you hadn't listened to all of Blurryface. You had just heard.
Oh no, I just heard Stressed Out.
Okay.
And I hadn't. So my first, and that's why I'm like my real experience was with Vessel. Okay. That was just like okay, that's why. But
well, let's just make sure we're saying some clear things for listeners that are new to 21 Pilots. Vessel is the third album released by 21 Pilots.
Yes, third. Okay. It's the third. But, like, if you were to go look on iTunes or look on Spotify, it would show up as their second because there's, like, an in-between album that
and you correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, Vessel, to me, was their, well, I don't know the right word for it, but, like, their first, like, real produced album.
Vessel was, like, the first. They got signed by Fueled by Ramen, and it was, like, you get to make an album. And, like, Tyler, up until that point, hadn't been making in terms of albums. It was more of, like, okay, I'm writing all these songs. I'm just going to put them together. And he would put them together, and he was obviously writing on some, like, similar playing fields, but like it wasn't until Vessel that he was writing with the idea of having an album being made. Everything else was done in his basement.
Right. So, admirable.
Very admirable.
Impressive.
We love him. I could talk about him all night.
I appreciate him. Maybe I love him. I don't know. We'll see. Definitely cool appreciate.
He's a very sweet dude.
He is. He really is. I'm glad he's out there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm telling the experience. Freshman. My first experience. You
go back and listen to Vessel.
No, so I'm babysitting Cora.
Has the two grandpas on the cover.
Yeah, it has two grandpas on the cover. It's Josh and Tyler's grandpas. So I'm babysitting Cora, and she has swimming, which was great because I would just put headphones in, and she would have her swim lessons. And I so vividly remember holding on to you and was like, oh my gosh. And then... So I was like, I like really tuned in at that point, if that makes sense.
Okay, where is Holding On to You?
Oh, it's number 2.
Number 2
so it's
on
Ode to
Vessel.
Sleep, and then it's Holding On to You. And I'm like, this is a very chaotic place that I'm sitting in. It's so hard because I picture myself, I'm sitting down. It's like I'm on this concrete wall. There's a pool, Cora swimming. There's so many people around. Safe and Sound. It's like on Westlake.
Yeah, is it by China Harbor?
It's an indoor pool. Yeah, it's by China Harbor. It's an indoor pool. Yeah. I'm sitting there.
I know.
Headphones
I did that
in.
for 2 years.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things going on. So it took me probably listening in to Holding On to You. And then I was like, that's the only thing I was so encompassed by it. And
okay, I like the idea of somebody listening to this and saying, pause. This is a great conversation, but I'm going to go listen to Holding On to You. You know what I mean? And then they'll come back to the podcast. It's just an idea.
Wow. That is an idea.
Recommended,
but I would say
possibly go listen to Holding On to You, and then you'll know what Macie's talking about.
That's a good point.
I would do that if I was listening.
Okay. You know how, we talked on the playlist making podcast about divine experiences, or what was my phrase?
Divine encounters.
Divine encounters. As I described, a ton of stuff is happening. I should not be able to focus in on the music as much as I am. And it just took me. And by the time it was car radio, it was every word was like, oh gosh. And then Screen comes on. I was having a very emotional moment the first time I heard this album.
Sitting there swimming, learning how to dive.
I know, and I couldn't finish the album. I couldn't finish the album because we had to go. It was done. And that was really, I remember this day so well. It was so hard. And I was texting my friend Michaela and I was like, oh my gosh. And she was like, Trees is the best. And Trees was
You hadn't gotten to Trees yet.
I hadn't gotten to Trees yet, and I knew I was going to. And so, I was sitting for, I think probably an hour, knowing Trees was coming.
That's great. I think for any fan of anything if anybody's even had a good encounter like this with an album, we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then I was like stuck on Vessel for so long.
Let me
stuck
just
on
pause.
trees, stuck
Let me
on
just
car
pause it
radio.
back, take us back to the pool.
Take us back to the pool.
What were the emotions? What were the feelings or the vibes going on internally for you when you were hearing this for the first time? I'm very curious.
Oh gosh, it's so money. I mean, so after Holding On to You is Migraine, which is like the most like, this is so much. Migraine means so much. It's a really like serious song about Tyler, like the thoughts in his head and the anxieties in his head. And I mean, it was like, so it's like when I talked about soul songs on the first place.
Divine Encounters,
soul songs. It's like where every word and every part of the song like hits you in the right spot, and like it's just like it's hard. Like almost every song, like every line gets me. It's like so true, and like I think that's like the power of music, when you think about it. But it's like that song Migraine, Tyler was able to like put to words things that I'd been thinking and feeling, and like you're not alone, I guess, in it. I don't know. So,
but was it a
pause and listen to Migraine?
Pause and listen to Migraine. That's how this podcast episode works. I mean, was it a like I'm trying to identify the feeling. Was it a warm feeling?
Oh.
Was it a peaceful feeling? Is it an elated feeling?
Oh gosh. Okay, that's hard because.
Were you feeling pumped?
This is pumped is not the right word.
Okay.
The first time hearing it, probably like overwhelmed. And I knew.
But like kind of in a positive way.
Yeah, in a positive way, but also in like, like an intimate way. It was like, I don't know, overwhelmed. Overwhelmed in a, positive is probably right, but also.
Big emotions.
Yeah, big emotions.
Probably on many different levels.
But
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, and also it's hard because it's like I'm looking back at that day and I can really super nostalgically look back on it, and it meant a lot. But also like I hold so many emotions now with these songs too. Mm-hmm. Like once I learned every word to Migraine, it took on a whole new meaning. And then when you can like sing it yourself, it takes on a whole new meaning. Then you make a painting about it, it takes on a whole new meaning. Like it's
listening to Migraine someday when you're 60 will have an entirely different meaning than it does right now.
And like different lines stick out to it each time. So it's not like I go and like every time I'm listening to Migraine, I feel like as depressed as he is in that song. But like there's still parts to it that like will always, it'll always speak, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you listen to it at the pool. When did you get to listen to Trees?
I listened to Trees driving in the car, and it was so good. Trees is I don't know. I don't know if I want to say a favorite song, but Trees is one of the most special songs. And that song like carried me through probably 2 years of my life. In like a sense of just like, it was always like, I probably listened to it every day, at least multiple times a day, I would say.
That's so sweet.
Is it? It's
I don't think, no. None of this is crazy.
Trees is like a very special. Pause and listen to Trees. Like it's a very sacred song. It's very beautiful. He closes every show with it. That's been like the song that's always been on their list. Like they've always played that song and always had that song, even if it's not on the first 2 albums. It's like I have a tattoo about that song.
Well, let me just say, like...
Are we going to get in?
Okay,
I want to get into Trees.
well, let's just do it. But I always say, like, I think one of the things, and you correct me if I'm wrong or say if I'm saying this correctly, like, there are a lot of emotions and thoughts in our life that oftentimes get minimized by too many people, by most people.
Yeah.
And Tyler Joseph, or 21 Pilots in particular, have given credibility or permission, whatever you want to say, to let those emotions out, to name those emotions, to like, I don't know, celebrate isn't the right word, but to make those emotions big and bring them into the light.
Yeah.
And you giving yourself permission to have these big emotions about 21 Pilots is also giving other people to have big emotions about the artists that they love. So you don't need to minimize it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Or you don't need to mock your own self for, like, enjoying 21 Pilots, you know?
That's true.
Because you don't mean it, you know?
Mocking myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like that you like 21 Pilots, and I like that you like 21 Pilots.
Yeah. I like...
And you should like that you like 21 Pilots.
Yeah. Part of me, like, on some level, I think resents that they're, like, popular, which is just such an obnoxious thing.
Hard.
That, like, I have to get over. That's a pride check.
Let's pause for a quick second and say something about that, because this is where I do personally have a lot of things to say about 21 Pilots, but I do want it to be Macie centric. But like they are 100% unique. There's nobody like them. They're like a different type of popular. They are popular like on the charts.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll just speak for my generation. Nobody really talks about 21 Pilots in my circles. Like they're not like firmly on the radar. Like that's one of the things that I experienced, and it was kind of maddening for somebody with my type of personality. There's very few reviews.
Yeah.
Like all the major publications hardly acknowledge 21 Pilots.
Yeah.
So even though they're like outselling everybody, they're still the underdog. Like Pitchfork, if you search 21 Pilots on Pitchfork, not mentioned. They don't even acknowledge the existence of 21 Pilots. Spin Magazine, the second like pretentious.
Wait, that is really messed up.
I know. Rolling Stone has like 1 or 2 articles / mentions.
Part of me reviews they should have.
Metacritic will give you every review. If you look up Blurry Face on Metacritic, it's got 6 reviews.
Dang.
That's between all major publications.
That's crazy.
So
and Blurry Face has won so many awards.
Yeah, they're huge, and somehow they're not huge. That's the weird thing about them. So like, they're still kind of underdogs. So yeah, I mean, I still think you can claim like some sort of cool factor.
Like they're very like, it's like, oh, the emo kids. I mean, like when at youth group, if there's a kid with 21 Pilots, I'm like, oh, like I know this kid. Like this, there's like a sense of, if you're like a diehard 21 Pilots fan, like you kind of fit in a group. Like that's another thing about 21 Pilots is they have like this squad called the Clique. That's their fan base. What?
Skeleton Clique.
Yeah, the Skeleton Clique. And it's a very special, unique community. Like, as a person who has followed this band for a long time, like, I've gotten to know a lot of fans of 21 Pilots. Like,
are you part of the Clique?
I like I guess probably on some level.
Is it risky to out yourself as somebody that thinks?
No, I just feel too old. Yeah.
The 23-year-old in the room thinks they're too old.
No, like, the Clique is in general, like, more like teenagers. So, like, it's kind of their space. Like, I don't know.
Huh.
But, I mean, even just, like, going to concerts, the fans there and the people you meet are, like, the sweetest people ever. Can I share a fun concert story?
No, you can't share a fun concert story. Let's move on. Let's stop talking about 21 Pilots.
I know, I keep thinking, like, oh, I should probably stop talking about 21 Pilots.
The whole episode. Share a concert story, please.
Oh, this is going to be so scattered, this whole conversation.
Fine.
Sorry, y'all.
It's a real conversation.
So Sydney and I went to see them. Oh, this was such a special night. Sydney and I went and saw them at Ace of Spades in Sacramento, if anybody knows what that is. There was like a small venue. Okay, so this is another thing. I became a fan during the Blurry Face era, which means I never got to see them play when they were like before Blurry Face. Like, and I think that's where I get so sad. If I go and look at YouTube videos of them playing live shows in like Columbus when they were small, I like cry. I get like really sad.
This is what I have to say about that is like people that are in the Skeleton Clique that have been with them for a long time have to be in their mid to late 20s at this point.
No, that's true. Yeah. Like they are, but the Clique, I think it moves with time.
Okay.
I don't know.
I want to have a whole conversation about that later. I have lots of questions.
Okay.
But tell your concert story.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. So Sydney and I go and see them. Oh, so I missed them be a small band, which like it makes me sad on some level. I just like, I'm so sad I didn't know them earlier. But I got to see them at an 1,000 people venue, which is pretty small for them. And so that was like very nice. And me and Sydney were super excited. And it was like the best ever. We freakishly dressed up. We had hazmat suits. We like were really in it. And of course, like skeletons you saw, I posted it on Instagram.
What is the significance of hazmat suits for them?
If you see the music video Lame Boy, it's like the like trope that they use kind of for like what,
like the world is toxic or something?
Kind of, yeah. It's like what they use as Lame Boy's kind of Lame Boy is an interesting song. I don't want to go into Lame Boy.
Okay, don't.
But it's from that. Also, we had like skeleton stuff, which that is like every time they used to open, they opened with Ode to Sleep, and they would wear these hoodies. I have a hoodie that's like a skeleton.
I think you have it wrapped around your waist right now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I'm wearing all my 21 Pilots gear.
So you're wearing a lot of 21 Pilots swag right now.
Yeah. True fan. So they used to wear those because they like kind of are super weird on stage, and Tyler gets nervous. Like he used to get really nervous. And they would put those on, and like they would be like masks so they could just do their thing for the first song, because they're like also a weird band. And when they first play Ode to Sleep's like first song of Vessel. It's kind of a really crazy up and down, and it's kind of supposed to be like, hey, you shouldn't expect anything like in the next song, like it's gonna be everywhere. And so they open with that, and so they always wear those. And so they still like if they play Ode to Sleep at Blurry Face concerts, they'll put those on, and it's so special.
No matter what.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They're very, like, at their concerts, like, they'll wear certain things. Like, he has a certain outfit for Holding On to You. Like, he has a certain outfit for Ode to Sleep. And if he's not, like, I would be sad.
Oh. He probably knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of fans probably experience that.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if they'll ever be able to do anything but close with Trees. Like, I don't think I would be devastated if Trees wasn't the closer.
Wow.
Like,
I have so many questions about that.
Devastated. I also, like, every concert get devastated that I've never seen them play Kitchen Sink.
Wow. Yeah. Well, so what if they started touring this a new album and they decided they were going to close with a different song? I don't know much about them, so it's like maybe even they would gasp at that.
I think they would gasp at that. They've closed with Trees forever. They in any interview they talk about like no matter how like tired they are at the end of the show, like Trees always gets them through. Like Tyler gives his speech before Trees. Like Trees is like it's like the most insane experience at a concert. Trees.
Like I know what that's like, and I can only imagine. But I guess if you were a fan and you knew they ended with Trees and that they did that consistently, it would probably just be a wonderful, wonderful moment.
Yeah, no, it's so sweet.
To know that it's coming?
Yeah, no, it's like, it's like this closing, like in Trees is like we're all together. It's so beautiful.
As a casual concert goer, I think the encore is always a very intriguing moment. Like I'm always like, what are they going to do for the encore? And I've got some pretty cool encore stories. But that's for another episode. Ooh,
stay tuned.
Encores. What are we going to do about that? Okay, so
I think I was explaining something so long ago.
Yeah, I mean, you were explaining this concert, and I don't know if you were trying to make a larger point. Going to this concert.
Yes, I was. Yeah. I had a story. Okay, so went to this concert. Sid and I went after to wait to try and meet Tyler. This is my story about the click. So we're in line waiting, like after the concert. You can like stick around and hope and pray that Tyler and Josh will come out to say hi to their fans. And so we're waiting, and the people at the concert venue are so mean. They were such freaking jerks, and they always do this where it's like, they're not here, they're not coming out.
Oh, the people
blah,
like
blah,
hosting?
Blah. Yeah, and like, because they're trying to like get the people away. They're like
trying to get people to leave and stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to get people to leave. But, like, we're all like, well, Tyler always comes out and says hi to his fans. So like, we're going to stay. But then, like, slowly but surely, like, a ton of people leave. And so it's kind of like the few that stick around. And there was, like, a squad of probably, like, 30 of us who were left. And, like, it had been hours. And there's this one kid next to me who had a ukulele. And we were, of course, like, all becoming friends.
I love that, first of all.
What?
A kid next to you has a ukulele.
Well, okay, Tyler plays the ukulele and like performs with it. So
but a fan brings it to the concert.
Yeah, of course.
That's great.
So we became friends with him. I wish I remembered his name. He was so sweet. Him and his girlfriend were so sweet. And I was like, dude, let's just start singing. Let's do it. And so we got the whole group. We started singing songs, 21 Pilot songs, just right there, hoping that they would come out.
Gold.
Josh was sick, but Tyler did come out.
Wow.
And I met Tyler. It was so special, but I was so scared. I didn't know what to say at all. I just said thank you. Just thank you.
So let's
thank
just
you
make
so
sure.
much,
Let's make sure we understand what's happening. Tyler Joseph is the main singer, producer, writer. You have would you call it crush? What?
I would
appreciation.
Say, I would say okay. I'm sure, like on some level, crush, but not in a like romantic way. I mean, he's married to Jenna, who's the best. I love Jenna, but what? Yeah, I've met Jenna. Jenna.
But all that to say, like, I'm trying to set the scene. This guy...
He means so much to me.
Comes out of the...
He's like a soul that's like a kindred spirit, but like a kindred soul, if that makes sense. And he's helped me through so much. His music, not him, I guess. So... Yeah,
he calls you and coaches you through things. He's helped you through so much. I'm kidding.
He does. Yeah. He has. So
he comes out.
He comes out, and they're like, okay.
He's obviously not making like a beeline towards you.
No,
he's out in
no.
public.
Yeah, I should set the scene better. So like they like come out. It's been hours, and the Ace of Spades like staff has left. A lot of people have left. The couple that we loved, they've left because his girlfriend had a math test in the morning, so she had to go.
Gotta get home for that math test.
It was a smaller squad, and that's kind of the point, is to bring it down. And Tyler came out, and they were like,
21 Pilots.
Yeah, honestly, it's a really sad scene.
Because it's the most like, I don't want to say desperate, but it's like it's the most. I don't know what word I want to use.
Like, it's just like a lot of people waiting, and then it's like this.
I'm sure he's not sad.
I'm
sure he feels honored.
I mean, he probably feels honored, but I know. I mean, I don't know, but like he's an introvert. He's not like a person who loves chatting with strangers, and I'm sure he's like learned to get used to it, and I'm like does appreciate it, but I know that's got to be hard. And so like
I don't know, but I just want to pause. Like for an introvert to engage with people that appreciate your work, I don't think that's much of a drag.
Yeah, no, I think that there's some level of like he probably really does enjoy it, but I mean they tour a lot, and my heart's like it's 3 a.m, and we're still here, and you're still here, you know. But we did finally get to see him, so we had to like line up, and we got to like they were like you can take a picture, no autographs. Like they were super like.
Oh, we're really this Ace of Spades.
I know.
Get him out of my face.
I know. Ace of Spades was pretty bad. I almost wrote a bad review because it was Ace of Spades. It was not 21 Pilots staff. Right. I know that it wasn't.
Yeah. We're not blaming 21 Pilots.
We never would.
Those Ace of Spades people. Come on.
I will continue my story. Okay. Tyler, I said thank you, and that was it. And then as I'm walking away, he said hello to the person after me.
Wow.
And I started sobbing.
Oh, no. And you haven't even explained that yet. But.
Yeah, no, just because it was so special, just hearing that. It was insane. My first night after seeing them, so I saw them in Seattle first.
I think you had a picture with them.
Yeah, I have a picture with him.
Okay.
Yeah. But my first night seeing him, I just sobbed for like an hour after.
That's really sweet.
Is it?
I think it is. I think it's so sweet. I think it shows that you're alive. I think... there's no shame in that.
Stay alive.
Stay alive.
That's their phrase.
Yeah, good. I think I would hope that everybody has a concert experience where they're crying, or an album experience. Why not?
Why not? Okay, I have so many more things to say.
Say all of the things. Where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about your tattoo?
I think we should talk about my tattoo.
Okay, let me just intro this by saying Macie has a tattoo on her forearm that says hello. Is it your only tattoo?
No, I have the alien.
Okay, she has another tattoo that's an alien face. This is a part in a song, 2 songs, in my understanding. Yeah, 2 different songs. And so I think, it's pretty standard when you see somebody with their tattoo that you ask them what it means. And some people are very standoffish about that, in my opinion. I don't know what it's like because I don't have a tattoo. Like, how dare you ask me about my tattoo?
Yeah.
But you're not that type of person. It seems to me that you like talking about your tattoo.
Yeah.
So
it's a pretty obvious spot.
The listening audience is collectively going to now ask Macie about her hello tattoo.
Oh yeah. So what's your tattoo? Hello.
Yeah.
That's what people always say is like hello, and I always forget that it says hello. And how am I going to explain this?
Here it goes.
It's not hello in the sense of like hello, as if you know the person is there. And I debated for a long time, period, question mark, nothing. It's nothing. Because it's this hello into wonder. It's hello into experience. Okay, if you haven't already, you should at this point pause and go and listen to Trees. For sure. The first hello is the most special hello ever. I don't know how to explain it. It holds so much.
This is your attempt.
This is my attempt.
Yeah.
That one hello holds so
great.
much like a sincere longing and hope in something. And like that's just kind of like the posture that like it's like a hello of searching, and like it's like
kind of a hello and like to the abyss.
It's hello into the abyss. It's hello into the divine. It's hello into like yourself. It's
someone there.
It's been hello for so many things. But so also the song "Attic with a Pen," which is like an amazing song. You should watch the YouTube video, the live video of it. Tyler is so special in it. But that hello is also kind of attached to it. They have a similar like hello of like speaking out into the world. And like you could read it as God, or you could read it as just like, I don't know. You could read it as a lot of things. But Attic with a Pen, that song like really is also, it's a kicker. Every single line is shocking.
I think that's what's so great about art or music is that how strange is it that one word could take on so much significance.
Yeah.
There's one of my friends has been to over like 30 Bruce Springsteen concerts. And there's 3 or 4 different songs apparently over the years where, Bruce Springsteen has like 20 albums or something like that.
Yeah.
Where he does these lie, lie, lies. It's like he sings lie, 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 lie. And he'll put it into a song. And I would not be the right person to talk about what that signifies. But for the audience, like if he just throws that into a song, it means everything. And he does it very strategically at certain points. And it's like, how does that just take on so much weight and meaning? That's really cool.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Hello is a very weighty
it's a really weighty
thing
hello.
in this context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you listen to it, what did you think of it, Trees?
I just don't think it has the same significance. Like I haven't had that experience. I mean, I know what the tattoo means to you and stuff like that, and I definitely have like a spark of emotion when that comes. A spark. But like I'll get into this a little later. I have other songs that I think have impacted me a little bit more, but I love that it has impacted you. You've said what it means sort of symbolically for Tyler Joseph and what it means in the song, but what does it mean to you personally now that you have it tattooed on you? Like what is it? It's not just Tyler Joseph's meaning. I feel like you've taken it on yourself.
Oh yeah. Gosh, I don't know. It means like too many things, but it's both. Okay, it's both a hello trusting, like a hello asking if someone's there, but also hello saying like hello, someone's there. And I don't know what that someone is anymore at all, but I don't know. It still holds that same just like asking. And like Tyler's always said that he wants to make music that makes people think. That's like all he's said, like from the start. Like I just wanted to make people think. And like that's like kind of like this idea of like this hello is like you're always questioning and like putting that out there and like greeting the unknown or the beyond. Yeah.
So does that still resonate with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the beyond is.
That's
I don't
great.
know.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's the hello.
Love it.
I love them.
Okay, so we've basically only gotten into your freshman year. You went to a concert. Like, I
went to 5 concerts in 1 year.
5 concerts in 1 year? That's a surprise. That's a lot.
A lot. I never really went to concerts
Have you
before
been in
this.
5 concerts total?
Of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was all I became a fan during like one specific era.
And that was freshman year of college?
Well, no, then I saw them my sophomore year.
Okay.
And then maybe it was 4 times in 1 year. It was like 5 times in like almost a year, probably. Because I saw them back to back, Sacramento and Seattle. And then Sydney and I drove to like San Jose or something one time. And I saw them in Seattle again. And then, yeah, I've seen them twice in Sacramento, twice in Seattle, once in San Jose.
So here's a question. So say somebody's never heard of 21 Pilots, or say, I guess a better way of saying it is, say there's somebody like me out in the world who has heard 21 Pilots in coffee shops and different little areas and venues, and it's like that group that just keeps popping up on Pandora, and there's not much interest. It's like, oh, what a nice band. Oh yeah, there's that song. Like, what is your not like convincing pitch, just like what is it about 21 Pilots? Like, for lack of a better phrase, like, what's your elevator speech?
Yeah, elevator speech.
How do you sum up like the appeal?
Okay, my biggest appeal for them is that it's very raw. Like, there's a lot of truth, and there's very little bounds for the truth, if that makes sense. So, like, music, the lyrics should really matter. Like, I don't understand listening to music and not thinking the lyrics matter.
There are some people out there.
I know. There's a lot of people out there, and I just like don't understand that. That's like just my brain's like, well, they put the words there, you know. So
they wrote the words.
So lyrically, it's just like profound truth in my opinion, and it's just like true, genuine like experience, and like it's poetic. I mean, it's just, yeah.
How would you describe to a newcomer, how would you describe their music, aside from the lyrics? Because I know that's important to you. How would you describe their music sensibility or their music style? Or
I don't know.
I mean, I think like the really snooty critic way of saying is like, how are they sonically? Like,
I don't know. They're not like, yeah, they've changed a lot. I mean, like, if you listen to their early stuff, it's kind of like janky.
I love that you said that. I wasn't going to say it.
No, it's janky, but it's like,
but
in a very like
cute sounds
good
so
way.
Condescending, in a very authentic.
Yeah, no,
authentic way.
It's like, it's almost better because it's so genuinely that way.
I have a story that I read about Tyler Joseph.
What is it?
And I wonder if you know it, but I thought it was interesting knowing our playlist episode. He said he was cleaning up at a Killers concert. You know that?
No.
Yeah, he was at a Killers concert and he was like on the road with them. And was like, I don't remember all the details, but I read this, and they said he had kind of had it. Like, he was like, I'm sick of cleaning up after this band. I'm going to be the next Killers.
Yeah.
So that's so interesting that I didn't know that when I put that song on your playlist, but like,
yeah, that's super interesting.
He was like inspired. That was 2009 that he had that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big, like, okay, he's a big go-getter. Like, Tyler's like a goal setter and goal getter. It's really interesting because that is like this strange element of Tyler that's like very similar to
I feel
my
like he
growing
has to
up.
be like a 3 or a 7, or maybe he's a 4-wing 3.
Let's not Enneagram type.
Come on.
But I think he's probably a 4.
4-wing 3.
But he's always been someone who like talks about like, I dreamed of being at these things, and like he dreams big, which is
another thing is he was a basketball player.
I was gonna
Very
say that. I wanted to mention that because you b-ball.
I b-ball. It's the one sport I can kind of play.
Yeah, no, he was like really into it. His mom was like, his family was so supportive, and he was like really into basketball, and she like really pushed him, like, if you want to do this, like work really hard and all this stuff. And then he switched and was like, I think I want to do music. And his family and his town like got behind him. Like, they all would just go to his concerts. They were super sweet. It's like a very sweet story of how they came to be.
Another question I have is like, what has 21 Pilots meant for your relationships?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it's like music bonds people on some level, especially if you share music with other people. And as I've shared here, I'm evangelical with the things I like. So every
Which
person in my life probably had to hear 21 Pilots an obnoxious amount. Like I said, most of my friends had, like a lot of my friends had already been listening to 21 Pilots, and they loved them as like Vessel, and they loved them as Regional at Best. And then Blurryface came out, and they were kind of annoyed. So like as I was coming into being, I love this band, they were like, yeah, we've loved them for a while. And like they totally all like were stoked that I had come alongside, but they weren't like in the fresh stages like I was, you know? And I tried to show them to so many people. I tried to show them to Sydney, and I sent her a Holding On to You music video, and she didn't like it.
Sydney is one of Macie's best friends.
Yeah. And she didn't like it.
Self-identified #1 fan of the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. And I was like kind of super sad that she didn't like it. And I was like, Sid, I think you really will like them. I kind of knew. And then I was able, when I came home, I like showed her a bunch of videos and kind of forced her to learn about them. And then she was like, oh, I love them. And now Sydney and I have been to 3 concerts together. 3 concerts together. And then I've been to 2 concerts with my friend Tyler. And that first concert was one of the most special nights ever. It was like so sweet. She doesn't like love them, but she like loves how much I love them. And it was such a fun night and so special. So she's gone with me both times they're in Seattle.
I just want to set the scene one more time. We're sitting in the living room with 2 Matthews. One Matthew's laying on a couch looking at his computer, beautiful, having a nice, relaxing Thursday evening. The other Matthew's eating like a jar of chopped up melon. I think. Is it melon? Cantaloupe and pineapple? Pineapple. There it is. And here we're sitting here talking about 21 Pilots. It's in season. Beautiful.
I feel like we need to be able to get things down.
We're already 50 minutes in, if you can believe it. Let me say, as a fan of you and a fan of 21 Pilots, I'll consider myself a fan right now. I think, and I would like you to correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not saying this correctly. Tyler Joseph has dealt with depression. Yeah. And his music has given others that deal with depression as well space to process that, I think, or a space to feel less weird or alone, and given people sort of hope on the other side of depression or hope on the other side of whatever that heavy emotion is. And so I think what's so great about call them the Skeleton Clique or just general fans in general, is that they have felt seen, known, heard, valued, validated in their sort of existential crisis. And that's a beautiful thing. That's why I could never hate on 21 Pilots, you know?
Yeah.
Is that said correctly? Like,
yeah, no, it's making me really emotional. Yeah. Depression, and they've meant so much for like that community. Tyler like directly addresses suicide and directly like talks about that, and like at concerts will definitely like it's a celebration of like life and a celebration of like being here. His fan base is depressed, anxious kids who feel lost and can't sleep. Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful thing. It really is. I mean, not that they feel that way, but that there's an outlet or a space to process that. A community.
Yeah, no, I mean,
he's created a community.
It's like really easy to be like, oh, it's sad music, but it's like it's not sad music. It's just like true, and it has hope, but it's also like sad songs. But it gives, it's given this people like it gives someone said it like, wow, Tyler, like I'm trying to think of a line like our brains are sick and that's okay. Like that line is like has meant so much to so many people. Like. Or anyone struggling with mental illness, like it's okay. Like that's okay. Mm-hmm. So it means a lot in that sense.
I think this goes with what we're talking about, but like, you know, one of my favorite books is by one of my favorite theologians, Paul Tillich. And the book is called The Courage to Be, which is essentially saying the courage to exist.
Yeah.
And I forget which poet he's referencing, but he says this poet gives us a way out of this life by acknowledging that there's no way out. Just saying it helps.
Yeah.
You know, just acknowledging it helps. So it's like there's actually something sort of positive and freeing about acknowledging the darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was like, listening to their music is very liberating. It gives like voice. Yeah. Singing, like, once you can like sing their songs and like singing their songs in the car, like it again got me through so much. Yeah. This is so much.
I love it. That's real. I think that's the real like flavor of the podcast. I think
the real flavor.
Yeah. You want to do my top 5?
Oh.
Are you ready for that?
Oh. Can I guess them?
Okay, let me just intro this.
Okay.
This in preparation for this episode, I've been doing a true deep dive into 21 Pilots.
Like a true deep dive. It's been so sweet.
Yeah. As much as time allows, like I've listened to each album a few times, if not several. Like listen to the first album 2 or 3 times. Listen to Vessel probably 5. I probably listen to Blurry Face the most, interestingly enough. But I've definitely...
He hasn't listened to Regional at Best.
I've listened to
for people who
clips
are,
of Regional at Best.
He listened to some Regional at Best. In his defense, I forgot to tell him it exists.
Please, somebody defend me. So I have an experience. I've had an experience with 21 Pilots. It's been good. I'm glad I've had the experience. I'm grateful for it. And I put together my list of top 5 songs, but I've also, here's my other little categories. I have a runners up category, and then I have a songs I appreciate but don't want to listen to again.
Okay. Can you tell me what album your top 1 is from?
No, I'm gonna save my number 1 for the finale.
Oh, so I have to go 5 to 4.
Yeah. Do you want to guess, or do you want me to just
I
tell you?
just kind of wanted to guess. I want to guess a few.
It's like Battleship almost. Like you're guessing, and I'll tell you hit or no hit or something.
I feel like
you can guess a few, and I'll tell you if they're on my top 5.
Is Car Radio on your top?
Car Radio's in a runners up.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
I think you won't be surprised at some of them, but you'll be surprised at a few of them.
I don't know if I want to guess anymore.
Do you want me to just tell you?
No, I want to guess like 1 or 2 more.
Okay. This is great.
Okay. I feel like I got a hint today. You texted me one that you liked, but I don't think that's on there.
What?
Not Today.
That is, I love Not Today. I like most songs. I like most 21 Pilots songs.
This makes my heart happy.
Yeah. So Not Today I had a good experience with. I think that's why I texted you. But at this point, it's not even in the runners.
Wow. Okay. Is Migraine in there?
Migraine is in the top 5.
Is Ode to Sleep in the top?
No.
Oh.
That's not to say I don't like it.
No, I know. Is Taxi Cab?
Nope.
Okay. Well, let's be done.
Let me just tell you?
You tell me them.
Okay. We're starting at number 5 and going up to number 1.
Okay, because we already have the runners up, which is Car Radio.
Yeah. So these are,
which is
that's
from
one.
Vessel.
That's 1 runner up. I have 5 runners up.
Oh, you have 5 runners up? This is so much.
Wait, start with songs you don't want to hear again.
Songs I appreciate.
Okay, wait.
Don't want to listen
Can
to
I
again?
guess a few of those? Is one of them Trapdoor?
No. I don't mind Trapdoor. I actually don't mind any songs. I like all songs.
Appreciate but don't want to hear again.
Appreciate but don't need to hear again is a better way of saying it. It's like do not play me that song. It's not like I feel that way. I'm not offended by any 21
what is it?
Pilots
What
song.
are they?
Do you want to hear those?
Yeah.
Okay, songs I appreciate because I truly appreciate these. Like I really appreciate Lane Boy.
Yeah.
It's a good song. It's credible. I understand the message.
I think it's too obvious.
But I'm not interested in the song.
No, I don't like
Yeah.
Lane That Way that much. That's fine. That's fine. Your opinions pass.
Thank you. Another one is Pantaloon.
Oh.
It's just a song where I'm like, you know.
Oh, I love the Pantaloon, but that's because there's nostalgic moments of him playing it live.
I'm sure. Yeah, something I don't understand, but I could go deep diving on that song of like the pure music of it. I don't need in my life.
Get out.
Like there's some
Get out of here.
I like the words. I said I appreciate it. I know I like that it exists. I'm not a hater.
Next?
The other one was Message Man. And here's what I want to say about Message Man and
I can't
Lane
believe
Boy.
that.
Here's what I want to say about Message Man and Lane Boy.
Actual heck.
This is what I have to say about that. I'm not a big fan of the reggae elements of 21 Pilots. And Message Man and Lane Boy both do that to me. Of like I'm just kind of like, no thank you. Like it's not something I need from those guys.
Do you like Guns for Hands then?
Guns for Hands, I guess the message overwhelms the reggae. Like
yeah. The Message Man, like memorizing that was so special that day. I remember being like, yeah, got it.
I love that. See, that's why I say I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I totally do. I think it's valid. It should exist. I love that people like it. It's just not my cup of tea.
Okay, let's go through your.
Do you want runners up or do you want to?
No,
just
I
do
want
the real?
runners up.
Okay.
I want all of them.
Here, my runners up is I wish a top 5 had room for these, and so these are songs that I kind of wish could make the top 5, but they didn't. Car Radio's on there.
Great.
Screens is on there. I really like Screens.
Screens is the best. Screens is so special.
And let me just say this. Let's just stop for a quick second, because this is the difference between the two of us. And you're obviously more versed in 21 Pilots. I think I have more songs from Vessel on my top 5.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Blurry Face is their best album, in my opinion.
Oh, get out. Oh.
And I think the reason I would say that is because production-wise, it's superior.
Oh, God.
And I appreciate
that's the thing
production.
is, I don't care about that.
I know. Like, if you had some really nice speakers and were playing Blurry Face compared to Vessel, like, Blurry Face just surrounds you. They just knew what they were doing more.
I know, and I hear that, but yeah, no. Okay.
That's all.
Keep going up.
Okay,
with
so
your
runners up are
so
Car
fun.
Radio, Screens. So I was gonna say Heavy Dirty Soul to me is on the runners up.
Yeah,
I think
for
that's
sure.
a legit. It's a great opener.
Oh, it's the best opener.
I can't imagine if I was waiting for the next album.
Oh, in the audience, it's so freaking
Yeah,
good.
and I turned on Blurry Face, and it was my first listen. I'd be like, "This is a great opener." I'd be pumped. Goner, it has to be on there. It's so good.
It's so
that
good.
reaction
You should
was
see
great.
it live. You should see the live show. It's like this birds. Oh, I saw it. Fine.
And then I really do love A Car, Torch, and Death.
Oh,
You know?
yes!
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Is that the only song from Self-Titled that made it?
I think so. On my runners up, and
Dang, you didn't like Taxi Cab.
Taxi Cab is great. I'm sad it's not. There are songs that deserve to get acknowledged, but
Yeah.
this is. Well, I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean,
What are you gonna do?
yeah,
There's
I've
too many
given
good
myself
songs.
some restrictions.
There's too many good songs.
Yeah, there are.
We can't name them all.
Well, so first of all, Macie's refused to give her top.
I have not refused.
I'm giving my top.
Did I refuse?
Did you create a top?
I have it on my phone.
Wow, we should just say it then.
It's from like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So
I guess maybe
that's
it'd be
probably
a
changed.
moment of introspection to see if you still agree with your list.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to know my top 5?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so what's... Okay,
Okay, I stand by this. I really thought this through.
I really appreciate that.
My number 5 is Fairly Local.
Yes, I knew you like it. Did you watch the music video?
Yeah.
Isn't it so good?
Fairly Local is
The Few, the Proud, the Emotional.
one of the few songs that out of 21 Pilots, again, like as I'm listening and I can appreciate their lyrics, I can deep dive into the meaning, I can pull up the lyrics, but I think it's almost like as a hip hop fan.
Yeah, the intro,
Yeah.
it's like...
Fairly Local is one of the few songs that actually gets me moving. I start to like be like, oh, I'm into this, and I start to like get like jamming out to it, you know. So yeah, I mean, as a hip hop fan, I think it's the song that most moves me in that sense. This is true, and I was singing it before we started, and I've actually listened to it probably 10 times now.
Which song?
Heathens. I'm a Heathens fan.
No!
Yeah. It's number 4, yeah, even more than Fairly Local. And I saw them perform it live on SNL. I know, and I think that like probably that people that are like purists, that's probably like an ultimate meme. But I just have to be honest of like it's the most catchy, and I can justify myself. I can explain it.
I am like so mad.
That's great.
Heathens?
Yeah. I think
Heathens.
I think to me, okay. Well, so what would you say? Do you not like about Heathens? Okay, pause quick and just say, Heathens was part of the soundtrack for Suicide Squad.
It was a freaking song made for a movie.
Mm-hmm,
That's what I don't like. Partially,
it's good.
Also, it's the least raw song I've ever heard. It's so coded. It makes me so sad. And that was like that song gives me fear, like real fear for their next album.
Fear. I don't think you need to have fear because Kendrick Lamar just made an album for Black Panther. He curated the entire album.
Yeah,
and it's not a Kendrick album. It's so good.
Yeah,
I love it, but it's not like on the same level as To Pimp a Butterfly. You know,
well,
so
I still just like kind of don't like it. It still annoys me that they did that, and maybe that's a personal thing. But I like wouldn't even consider this as being an option. Like I never saw that coming. I cannot believe you just dropped
newbie.
that.
I'm not a Click member. I'm trying to. I think I have some credibility in the sense that I'm listening to everything with fresh eyes, with no background. You know, so if I'm just listening to each song and letting it speak on its own. I think it's a good song. I think it's a cool video. I don't think the movie's very good, but I think the song for me personally, in terms of my experience with 21 Pilots, I don't have the best way of saying this. I think it brings out in a palatable way for a general audience some of their best qualities. So it's like
that's the thing. It's for a general audience.
Right. Which I, as a fan, in terms of like Kendrick or anybody, sort of celebrate. If an artist that I like can get a broader audience or can get a foot in the door, and it's like because of Heathens, maybe now you'll listen to, some of these other songs that are on my top. Then that's a win.
You're probably right, but I'm too annoyed.
I love the foreboding sound. I love the little like little weird bass scratch sound in it.
I think for me more than anything,
I love this is one of the things that actually truly connects with me with 21 Pilots. I love this idea, and Suicide Squad in the trailers hinted at this, and then the movie was a letdown. But like I love this idea that the underdogs have so much depth, and the darkness actually gives them an advantage.
Oh,
almost.
yeah.
And that's the whole point of that song. I don't know, like I just think it captures like the essence of 21 Pilots for me as a layperson. I would never expect you to agree with me, but like,
okay,
I think it's
okay.
I think it like
your
it grooves. It's like
valid.
it's the same as like what I said about Fairly Local. Like I have a natural reaction to it. Like I want to start kind of moving and dancing and the way they perform it is very cool. Like
the way they perform it, I was about to say that's the worst thing.
I like Tyler Joseph holding his bass.
I do like
really
Tyler
cool.
Joseph holding his bass. That I can agree with, but
I've thought about it a lot because I know it'd annoy you, but I tried listening to it and hating on it, and I was like, dang, I really like this song.
Okay, let's move on.
Be careful who you're sitting next to. I mean, that's kind of the message. I think it's an interesting.
Okay. It's not like a terrible song.
Don't underestimate the person
It's not a terrible song. It's not at all. It's like, it is a good song. I would agree. It's just like, I can't even, in the realm of all the songs you could listen to. Okay, let's do 3.
I'm not a pure fan.
Let's
I'm not.
do 3.
I don't pretend. That's what's really important. I think I don't pretend to be a purist.
Yeah.
That's what's really great about the juxtaposition of the two of us. Like you represent the purist. So Fairly Local, number 5. 4, Heathens. 3 is Migraine.
Yes.
I really do love Migraine.
That song is just every single line in part. So good.
It is, and I do think it's one of those examples of a 21 Pilots song that initially sound like a 21 Pilots song. And you're like, it has a beat and a sound that's different. I mean, they're obviously not doing their reggae thing. But
hate on the reggae.
I'm just not into it. But yeah, Migraine for me personally is another example, probably better than Heathens, that encompasses their message in the most compelling way. Which their message is, part of their message, part of Tyler Joseph's message is struggling with darkness and depression, and basically like cluing his audience in that this is real and serious and valid and something that should be listened to, and doing it in a very obviously poetic, interesting way, you know. So Migraine to me is the most interesting listen in that sense. So fairly local. Heathens, Migraine. Number 2. You wanna know?
Is it Guns for Hands?
Nope. I love that you're just still trying to guess.
Is it? Can you tell me which album it's from?
Regional at best.
Is it Kitchen Sink?
Yeah.
It's Kitchen Sink. That's the best. Okay, it's not. I don't know if it's the best song. It's one of them.
I'm just talking about what I appreciate and like. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to even be a critic. I'm not trying to say objectively speaking, I would make an argument that this is the best. But I don't think in terms of this episode, I can separate my experience from 21 Pilots from you.
Yeah.
And so, like, obviously, Kitchen Sink, almost every word I hear reminds me of you. And I can basically, it's not even about 21 Pilots. I just hear you in it.
Yeah,
You know?
it's
So it's not even doubles in meaning. I think it like quadruples in meaning. And then I've told you, like, there's a sound to it that sounds like Beach House to me.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I like that sort of ethereal, transcendent, peaceful. That's to me the sound. And then you overlay it with these kind of heavy lyrics.
Yeah.
And that's one of those songs where I think like he's being extremely direct. It's almost like his spoken word. He's like, let me tell you what I'm talking about. Here's what the metaphor means. Here's how you don't even understand. It's like so unique to me, and you know, goes out of his way to make sure we're getting it. You know,
We've got it.
we got it. But that's really good.
We will talk about Kitchen Sink in more depth later. I want to know your one. Yeah, I want to know your one.
I don't think you guessed my number one. I want to say this about my number one. It is a firm number one. It is not like I'm very confident in this number one. It's my favorite 21 Pilots song.
Well, could you tell me what album it's from?
It's from Vessel. This really does feel like Battleship for some reason. I don't know why. Macie's thinking. It's Truce. That's my number one.
Yes, I did it.
You did
Truce
it.
is such a good song.
It is. And it's honestly like something, whatever they do in that song, it's something I'd like to hear more of from 21 Pilots.
Oh, I know. He said that. Did you know that he said that?
No.
Yeah.
I've probably listened to that song the most in the last 2 weeks. And I've been very emotional as I listen to that song. And it's obviously
I ended a playlist with it.
Oof, yeah, it's a great ending to a playlist. It's a great ending to an album. Maybe if I were to just sum it up for anybody, I mean, whether you're dealing with depression or not, I just think it's a very hopeful, sweet, optimistic, just a well-written song. It's a very pleasant. I think this is what I would say is like one of my beefs with 21 Pilots.
Yeah.
And again, I celebrate anybody that's gotten something good out of 21 Pilots. I'm not a hater at all. It's just my personal experience of 21 Pilots. I would be so sad if they took a song like Truce and made it a 21 Pilots song. Is almost what I'd want to say. Like, what if they added like synths and like pumped it up and he started doing his rap song to it? And I'm like,
I know.
It's so good just as is. Like, it doesn't need all the bells and whistles. Like, just let that song be that song. And even
really
hearing the Sleepers version of Hometown, it's like that's more preferable to me than the real version. Although I like the real heavy quotes version as like a remix. Yeah. But I'd prefer the Sleepers version on the album. I'm like, what if they just made an album like that? I
dream of that day. I dream of that day. I watch the live like acoustic versions more than anything, if I'm being honest. That's like where I really like watch and listen to 21
So I either want a pure acoustic album or I'd want a pure hip hop album. Those are the things I'd want from 21 Pilots. Yeah. Truce is Truce is legit.
On that song, he always, in like a commentary, he talks about how he was like, if you if you make it to Truce and you're listening to it, like, and you've listened to the album, like, like you're at this point, and like it's my message to you. Like, he's so genuine and true about it. Oh, and like it says
hugs. I want to say snaps, but I'll just say hugs.
Yeah,
hugs to that.
The "Stay Alive" is like their phrase, and that's like what people that song has meant a lot to so many people as well.
Like I talked about, my theme last year was a scene from Twin Peaks where one of the characters keeps saying, "Wake up, don't die, don't die, don't die," and that's like one of the themes of the whole season. And I think Truth speaks to that. Like, it's not don't die literally, although that can be read into it for sure.
Yeah, no,
but it's like live.
It's live.
Be you, do you, like, enjoy life, be who you were meant to be, you know, all that. I it's such a simple, sweet, small little song, and it says so much.
Says so much.
Yeah.
It says so much.
Yeah. So that's it.
And I mean, that kind of goes, it reiterates Tyler's, like, his when he's writing music, he wants people to be engaging, like thinking, like you're not meant to, as a listener. I don't think as a listener, you're not supposed to just hear it. You're supposed to, like, let it sink in and respond. Like, it's music that, like, requires a response, I would say.
Do you want to share your top?
Yeah, you want to know something crazy?
The thing is, I won't be able to respond the same way because I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know that song."
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't even have kitchen sink in my top 5 right in this.
Wow.
I don't.
So has it moved up?
Well, okay, it's really interesting because I don't know, it's hard because the 5 songs in front of it are also so good. This is where I'm like, this is why this is so difficult, because I'm like, all the songs are so good.
Yeah. Let's just say I don't know of a terrible 21 Pilots song. They're all pretty good. There's some songs that kind of annoy me.
That
but
I'm not like. I did not like We Don't Believe What's on TV for a long time.
I almost put that in my songs that I don't need to hear again, but I appreciate it.
I appreciate it because it's like nostalgic, because there's the I don't care what's in your hair, I just want to know what's on your mind part. And I think either I had purple hair or I had just shaved my hair. Okay, so my top, maybe I'll say my top 10. Okay, so this was as of 2 years ago. I think I made this about 2 years ago. So I have number 10, Car Radio. And then Glowing Eyes, which I don't think you've really heard. It's on Regional Best. Taxi Cab. I wish that you would love Taxi Cab. It's like the coolest, in my opinion, analogy. It like talks about the Trinity. It's just super religious. It's full religious and it.
I really like it,
which is fun.
I think the thing, at least in my first passes, was more the music, and then I'm sure the lyrics would come later.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think I approach music probably lyrically first.
I don't know if I do either or.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, Ode to Sleep. Kitchen Sink. Didn't make it in the top 5.
Of your top 5? Wow, that's surprising. I would have guessed your number 1. Can I guess your number 1?
Yeah.
Forest. Woods.
No! Gosh, no, I haven't quit. No. Gosh.
I would have guessed Kitchen Sink.
Yeah, it was 6 on this list. Isn't that crazy, Dan?
Wow. I'm trying to think what's number 1 for you.
It's like incredibly obvious.
Let me just look through. Keep saying it.
Okay, so my 5 is Fall Away, which
that's a good one.
Fall Away is like one of my favorite songs. Fall Away live with this Mr. Misty or something like that on the trumpet. Look it up.
I think I know what your number 1 is.
Yeah. 4 is Goner.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was on my runner-up.
Yeah, Goner's really good. 3 is Forest, which is also from Regional at Best, and Forest is an insane song. Every single line in that song is beyond good. 2 is Attic with the Pen. 1 is Trees.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to make sure I guessed it. I was going to guess Trees.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I would have guessed Trees.
Yeah. But it's hard because I'm like, Guns for Hands didn't make it on here. Mm-hmm. Like, Migraine didn't make it on there. Like, there's so many songs that didn't make it on it, so it's
hard.
It's hard.
What
hard
happens?
when you love everything.
So what? 21 Pilots doesn't exist anymore. You know what? I mean,
This is hard. This is so hard.
what's the significance of it? I don't know.
Oh, man. We haven't talked about Kitchen Sink, and we've just been alluding to this song.
Maybe that's the finale of this episode for now.
Oh, we're just going to keep alluding to it?
No. We talk about Kitchen Sink.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say.
You've talked about trees.
Yeah.
So I guess, this isn't your number 6 song?
Gosh.
You would choose to deep dive into your number 6 song?
I would choose a deep dive into the concept of the kitchen sink.
Okay, please deep dive into the concept of kitchen sink.
Okay.
I think you should.
Okay. So Kitchen Sink is a song that, Kitchen Sink changed. I don't know why it's number 6. It should be higher. I was wrong.
Real-time edits.
Real-time edits.
Just like Kanye's album.
I cannot believe that he does that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kitchen Sink is a song that we've said every line is written and it's beautiful and it's amazing. And it gives this concept of a kitchen sink, and it's like this I just want to read it. I want to read the lyrics, I think.
I was going to do that.
Oh, okay.
So that's great. I love that you're going to do it.
Okay, I'm just going to do this because I'm going to get nervous if I don't.
Please.
Nobody thinks what I think. Nobody dreams when they... I can't do it. It's too much. It's too emotional. I want you
hand
to
it
do
to
it.
me. Yeah. I do that all the time. I'll read a letter or something I've written, and then I'll hand it to Marissa because I can't finish. Nobody thinks what I think. Nobody dreams when they blink. Think things on the brink of blasphemy. I'm my own shrink. Think things are after me, my catastrophe, at my kitchen sink. You don't know what that means, because a kitchen sink to you is not a kitchen sink to me. Okay, friend? Are you searching for purpose? Then write something. Yeah, it might be worthless. Then paint something, and it might be wordless. Pointless curses, nonsense verses. You'll see purpose start to surface. No one else is dealing with your demons, meaning maybe defeating them could be the beginning of your meaning, friend.
That's probably good for now.
Okay.
That's the song continues, and it's...
Yeah, and I think personally knowing you, when he says, are you searching for purpose, then write something. Yeah, it might be worthless. Then paint something, and it might be wordless. That's you for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have to paint.
I have to paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, kitchen sink, it means so many things. I am getting really emotional about this song, so this might be hard for me to explain, and I was so excited to explain it. But it means so many different things, but this idea, first of all, the line, a kitchen sink to you is not a kitchen sink to me, is just like, we all have different perspectives and way we see the world and things that provide meaning for us. And like,
that line is kind of like a gut punch.
Yeah. No, that line I like it's like everywhere in my life. First of all, my phone case is a kitchen sink. And it's like, if you notice, that's the original best kind of like art-like thing. It's the coolest phone case ever. And my keychain has like a thing that says a kitchen sink to you is not a kitchen sink to me. Sydney gave it to me. And
so I guess I'm trying to think of like the casual listener out there.
I know.
Well, how would you describe kitchen sink?
Yeah, no, I'm really trying to do that. I'm really trying to do that. Tyler had an experience. This is what he said. He said an experience at a kitchen sink, and it means something to him, and he'll never share that meaning.
Unless you ask him personally.
No.
Really?
He'll never share that meaning.
He has something that he'll share personally.
No, this is the point of the kitchen sink, and he's talked about it in interviews. Like, he's the only one who will ever know what that kitchen sink meant to him that one night. And, like, we each have those things that, like, we are the only ones who hold that meaning. And, like, on some level, part of it is, like you exist and you're here for, like, without you, we lose that meaning. He always, like, he talks about that when he, like, opens with it and stuff, and, like, how much that song is about, like, each of us having to, like, find our own meaning and find our way, and, like, recognizing that we each carry our own meaning just by, like, being who we are and having our perspectives. So that's part of what a kitchen sink is. But then, like, in ways of, like, interpreting, like, so Sydney, my friend, and I, like, we both kind of started painting a lot more about, like, kind of around the same time I got into 21 Pilots. And I don't know how correlated that is, because there was a lot of other factors that led to that. But we both started, like, making these paintings that we would just call kitchen sinks. And we would paint, and we knew we didn't have to, like, say what it was. It was just, like, a painting.
That's so weird. And she has an Instagram account called Kitchen
Yeah,
Sink.
she has
I never made that connection.
Yeah, she has an Instagram account that's called Kitchen Sink Journal. You can go follow her. It's really cool. And she made it, and it was anonymous for a long time. And it was a place that she could just put art and, like, be like, it's fine. I'm putting something out there, and not have to, like, have her name attached to it. It didn't matter because she knew it was there. And that's, like, a lot of what this song is about, of, like, it's okay, you know it's there. Yeah, there's so much in that song, too. So that's, like, it inspired so much. And so now, like, it's, like, that's kind of how I, like, learned to paint on some level in, like, the truest way. Like, I know, like, I can say, like, this was a kitchen sink painting. And, like, that means it was just, like, really raw in my soul. And I didn't, like, feel like I need to explain any part of it.
Yeah, it's cool to think that he's created a concept that people can superimpose their own meaning over, you know. It seems so loaded. Is that a right way of saying it?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I
guess I hear you saying because he has been very intentional about not explicitly saying what the kitchen sink means.
Yeah.
People can make their own
meaning
judgments
of it.
Or meaning, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's this idea that it almost gains its meaning in its meaninglessness, or its, like, lack of having a meaning. It like, on every level, when I think about a kitchen sink, it warps my mind.
I mean, that's the really weird hoity-toity way of thinking about art, I think. It's when I hear myself saying things like what I'm about to say, it sounds just so, I don't know, like, pretentious is the only word I can think of. When you say that, like, something about, you know, it's up for interpretation, or there's multiple meanings. Like, you say these things to certain people, and they're like, "Oh, that's so pretentious," and you know. But it's true that I guess that really is what art is, and that's why I've always said, like, David Lynch is the true, and honestly, Kanye seems similar. Of, like, I'm gonna throw this sort of vomit of, you know, expression on the page or on the screen, and the whole point is that it has many layers of meaning, and that I'm not trying to say something specific. It's just pure expression, and it invites something. That's the thing we were kind of saying about Kanye. Like you said, he has our number, and it's like, yeah, it's making us feel something. It's making us have a reaction.
Yeah.
And kitchen sink seems similar.
Yeah, no, I mean, in, like, the other line is, like, are you searching for a purpose? Write something, it might be worthless. Paint something, it might be wordless. Like, he, like, in so many of his songs, he, like, will say, like, do this. Like, Guns for Hands is another song where he kind of, both of these songs, like, kind of address a lot of, like, meaninglessness and hopelessness. And Guns for Hands, he, like, talks about this idea of, like, put that energy, like, that you've been putting against yourself, like, that, like, and put it somewhere else, like, point it somewhere else, put it at something else. And, like, kitchen sink is, like, kind of this alternative, like, of art and expression as being, like, kind of this, like, way out of hopelessness. And this, like, there's the click art. I mean, that's, like, a whole thing, is this all of the click. Like, there's a whole group of people who do art, like, inspired by 21 Pilots, and are doing art inspired by it. I've made so many paintings and things that are, like, inspired by experiences with 21 Pilots, but also just the fact that, like, listening to their music made expression valid.
I think that's what I would want to say about, like, haters. Like, I think there's so many 21 Pilot haters, and I think anybody that experiences success, any artist out there that is on the top, is going to get haters. You know, like, Drake is the #1 hip-hop artist, so he's going to get some haters. But I think that's what's so sad about haters is it's sort of crapping on the people that have been impacted in a positive way by that art.
Yeah.
And, you know, the people that have been impacted, it seems, can sift through all of the nonsense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like most people like you or people that are fans of 21 Pilots are impacted by haters. They don't care.
No, I don't care.
But it still is kind of gross. It's kind of gross that there are people out there that would, you know, overlook the positive that a group like 21 Pilots have contributed. For all the themes and layers and emotional colors that 21 Pilots addresses. Like, I mean, I guess what would you say, Macie, is the maybe I don't know. What's one of many? I guess I don't want to say
Themes.
the. Yeah, what's the message? Like, what's the message you would want somebody to hear?
Okay, I will say a lyric.
Okay.
Life has a hopeful undertone. That's like their like a huge lyric of theirs, and it's this idea that like life is. I mean, some people, I don't know. I think people experience the world differently. Some people, I think it genuinely is harder for them than others on some level, mentally or in other ways. And there's like, it reminds us, like, there's hope out the window. That's another line. Like, there's the message is that like in the midst of darkness, in the midst of pain, in the midst of questioning or voices in your head, or in the midst of just doubting yourself or others, you like there's hope, and that like there is a hopeful undertone, and like you can start being that hope. I mean, he also talks about that on a level of like you start your change, like it begins like with you being able to like accept that. I don't know. I mean, it's like people talk about 21 Pilots as like going to church. Like when you go to see 21 Pilots, it's like always analogous, and it's kind of obnoxious to me. But on some level, I do think that like whatever, I don't know, the divine is, I do think it's like this idea of hope, and like that's the message that he's like sharing. I also like the other thing is like this idea of music to make you think. It makes you question things. Like his I Love Flightless Birds, a song that's just like this idea of like pause, think about your life. Like this is like the best thing you can do for yourself is to not like avoid your thoughts, but to let yourself think them. I mean, Car Radio is also another song about that. Like maybe like on some level also give the voices in your head like space to talk, but also know that you're stronger than them, which is a Blurry Face message. I mean, it's like very throughout all of his music. Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing how much 21 Pilots has impacted you.
Yeah, they're cool.
I mean, it's I consider myself a fan, but even thinking about the people that I'm the most, like the biggest fan of, like if I think of Kanye or Kendrick or Beach House, I don't have the same familiarity with their songs that you do with 21 Pilots. I can't usually name their songs by name. I don't know the order of the album. I can talk about the overall theme, but I just think it speaks to 21 Pilots that you know these songs inside and out, and the fans do too. I mean, you seem, compared to the other fans, compared to like true like skeleton clique, whatever that means.
Yeah.
You know, you're not even in the center of it.
No, and that's the thing is I'm
and to
not.
me, you're a hyper fan, so I don't even know what those people are like.
It's a little. Folks. It's kind of a little crazy though. When you like, sometimes I pause and I'm like, this is a little insane. Mm-hmm. They're just people, and I have to remind myself that because like I think his words and their words speak a profound truth, and they like point to that profound truth, but they're just people. I don't know.
I'll say this too, that I do think I really appreciate how he treats his fans.
Oh, I
think he's very responsible with them. Seems
I agree.
Like that.
I've been mad about the
power.
hiatus, but I also think the hiatus has been really good. They went on they toured for so long with Blurry Face, and then they've been dark off all social media, and that was annoying for a while, and I've been annoyed, but I think I understand and respect it more now.
I think we should wrap up our episode.
I think we need to wrap up for sure.
This has been our episode on 21 Pilots. We hope you enjoyed it.
I really hope you enjoyed it. I really do.
I want to say to the listeners, definitely hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it because it gave you some sort of insight into 21 Pilots, but that it also gave you an insight into Macie's heart and spirit.
You got to hear my mind.
Which is a beautiful thing.
No small thing.
And I will just say, as somebody that knows Macie, I'm going to talk to Macie right now. It is so fun to listen to you talk about this, and it's a privilege to listen to you talk about this. So I guess maybe you've helped me. You've been sort of a guide. Yeah. You've been a guide into my journey of 21 Pilots. And I think that's just one final thing I'd say is like I have an experience with Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, which requires a deep dive because it's a story. So if you just listen casually in your car ride on the way to work someday, you would miss it.
Yeah.
It's a story where every line, every song leads you to a conclusion. And I think that's what I've experienced with 21 Pilots this week. Of like, it's part of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of full circle, like experiencing these songs in ubiquity around the city in terms of like Starbucks and workout facilities and all these areas where these songs just pop up and you hear them out of context.
Yeah.
You would never really appreciate their true meaning. And so like you've really helped me, you know, see the deeper meaning in these songs, which has been a privilege.
Gosh, I'm so happy. I hope that other people could experience that. It's really special. Yeah.
That's it for this episode.
That's it for this episode.
Thanks for listening.
Oh, same time.